Let's go. Underground World News Live. And here we go. A good evening. What is going on? Much love. Good to see everybody. Steely, thank you for that. Right at the gate. Thank you for all the feedback, the quick feedback. John Boy, thank you for being on it there when people were trying to say no sound. Let me know real quick that there was sound. Thank you, everybody, for the feedback. Everybody that's always hanging out and joining us. I truly appreciate it to the fullest. Raymond, D. White, Hopkinson, Geo, Barb in Ohio, Wayne, Tiffany, IRG, just everybody, man. Much love, Kenzo. Good to see everybody. Hope all is well. We've got a pretty active night here in terms of military activity. We're going to start off with the usual, some economic, lighter stuff, and then dive into the heavier stuff. We're going to have quite a bit of that here tonight and a lot of warfront stuff. Just a lot going on, all in all. Going to try to get it wrapped up here within a couple hours. If you got anything to get to me, dabu7@yahoo.com is the email. You can at me in the chat at dabu77 to get my attention. And any super chats, PayPals, coffees, all that good stuff. Appreciated to the fullest. Much love, everyone checking in from all over out there. I see people checking in from different places. Thank you for the feedback. Yes, I'm going to touch on the whole thing with Verizon going down, saying it's still down there in Tennessee. It looks like, yeah, I've got some updates on that here. And let's just dive right in and get going here with some updates, starting off with some space stuff here real quick. We have, if you don't know, an ISS medical emergency. They're trying to evacuate some people from the ISS, and that's a whole different story in itself, but I'm not too concerned with that. They pull off so much theatrics with all that crap that I'm more concerned about what's going to happen with the moon. I'll touch on that here in just a second. But right now, we do have an active sunspot coming around the sun, a pretty big one that harbors energy to spit out some X flares. So this is going to be coming around our way at any point in time from here on out. If it pops off with anything, all that's going to drag this way. It's on the lower of the two spots that fire off. If you don't know, when you're looking at the sun, if you look at the screen here, where you see 4336 and 4334 and the new one circled, that's on a band that runs around the sun. It's just how the sun seems to work. There's an upper band where 4340, and it looks like a different one, is coming around the corner. So you have the upper and the lower band. There's two bands. If you were to put all the sunspots on the sun throughout the past few years, it sticks out. You start to see there's two big bands that all the sunspots come from. They don't come from the northern pole, the southern region, out in the middle of, like here, in the middle of nowhere. It never happens. It never happens. Never. So there's a dynamic, there's something with our sun that deserves attention if you want to know what's really going on. There's things to it, so to speak. It's not just, sunspots ripping off anywhere. There's some dynamics to it on how it functions. Anyhow, when they turn around this way, we put a heads up out there because anything Earth directed could affect us, obviously. And if we get any CMEs, any solar flares, I'll make sure to update. Make sure to follow me on X also, because I'm kicking stuff out over there that I'm not always putting videos out on. And to be honest, you should probably be following me on X just for the breaking news throughout the day anyway, because I may pop off a video or two, but with so much going on, there's a lot of breaking stuff that I just tweet out. I kick out on X. And if you're wanting to keep up with breaking stuff happening like throughout the day, that's where it's at. So nuclear reactors. I think I've got one lined up where last time I talked about these little mini reactors. They're putting them up everywhere. Universities talking about putting them up, all these different businesses. And Trump just came back out and said that, yeah, everybody out there is responsible for funding their own power. This is raising a lot of questions by other people, saying like, why are you doing this? Why are you making businesses build their own little miniature nuclear plants or power plant, if you will, regardless of how it's fed, nuclear, coal? And people are like raising an eyebrow finally, like, because I'm seeing it in articles and other people saying things that like this isn't going to be good at the end. And with little miniature nuclear reactors going in all over the country, the more that go in, the odds increase for something to happen. Now, come on. Something always happens. So this just isn't good. If it's going in your backyard somewhere, I would be concerned. And I would really be looking into this because they like to operate these days stealth-like. They'll move in, they'll start doing their things. They may get permits from the town, but they ain't going to say a word about it. They ain't going to say a word that a little nuclear reactor is going here, wherever, if they don't have to. If they can just keep it private, quiet, they're going to. You know, it looks like they can in many aspects. As long as they're permitted and the government's allowing them to do it, they're good. So the community is the one left in the dark. It's not till later till there's a problem. Like, everyone needs to evacuate. Like, why? What the hell's going on? They're like, well, the mini nuclear reactor down the road's erupted. And everyone's finding out the hard way of what little mini nuclear reactor down the road. Well, they're talking about the same thing with the moon. Why not, I guess, you know? They're just going to do it here all over the place. Why not the moon? Well, the moon, this is where things change for me. Trump and them are saying, or his administration, Space Force, along with Elon, I'm sure, they're going to the moon within the next couple of years. Humans, U.S. citizens, our astronauts are supposed to be going there. And they're going to work on putting a base. Now, I want to watch this. I want to track every second of this. The launches are going to be key. If we miss this opportunity, I don't know how you're going to get another one. There's nothing more just point blank simple than if a rocket takes off and the moon's right there, it should be going straight toward it. Period. And if we do not see that, this thing dips off over the horizon somewhere, or cameras switch up and all this, we're going to have huge problems right at the gate. I can almost guarantee you we're going to. That's why I want to have people on the ground ready with their own telescopes, live streaming, locked onto this thing, just tracking it real time. We're gonna put this thing to rest. They're either about to try to pull off some big show that we're very capable of busting at this point, because you have to be able to observe it. All of us here, we have the technology. There's no excuse. You launch from Cape Canaveral, shoot it up to the moon. It's right there. We should be able to watch it every step of the way. Every step of the way. No excuses. No excuses. No camera switching up and nothing. This could be a defining moment through all their lies, all their BS, all everything. And I always think of what I've got in the back of my mind was just launching a weather balloon with cameras and live streaming. That's the only way that I know to get past the crap, because they're not going to let us launch a rocket. I ain't got the money for that, but we could probably pull off a weather balloon with cameras in the right spot, live stream it. Why not? Why not? Why not? Wouldn't it be something to have one in the air? I don't know, just north, in legitimate airspace, just north of one of these launches, already in the air, already in subspace, with cameras rolling. It could be done. It could definitely be done. You definitely be keeping them honest, and you definitely see what's going on with these launches. Just one launch. If you think about it, there's ways, man. People need to get out here and start doing things. Get up off that ass. Because I see a lot of people just sitting around doing nothing. And we're here for a short time. Time to get it in. Be legendary. Anyone out there that discovered something like this, that blew the cap off of, for sure, that, who knows what you're going to see up there? Independent cameras. I know you're going to see something crazy. I got footage of stuff around the sun with my own camera and eyes from here on Earth. Broad daylight. Also on the moon, around the moon. I know we catch something. Anyhow, they're talking about taking a nuclear reactor to the moon by 2030. So think about this, though. They get it up there. You have to have a lot of things in place by 2030 for that to even happen. Like, you've got to have like a lot of like just like first of its kind bases, legitimately, like put on the structure, which I believe, because they've shown us it's hollow. What happens if it blows up? I mean, I don't want nothing to happen, but I mean, what a target if you're the enemy and they're launching rockets one up into space and they're trying to send a nuclear reactor to the moon. I mean, I don't know, man. There's a lot of things. Let's just see it first, is my thing. I want to see proof that these goons are going to fly up and through the Van Allen belts. Kimmy, Rapture Ready, thank you for the coffee. Much love. God bless. I appreciate it to the fullest. Anyhow, the moon right there, we can all see it all the time. That's my point. If they launch to it, we should be able to see it every step of the way, all the way down. And then when they take off and they're heading back, when they start doing this, we should be able to see the traffic. You feel me? We should be able to obviously look up and see the traffic back and forth. If not, there's a huge problem. Zillion, thank you. We're gonna get a live stream on this. I promise you. I wish I could do it now, but I just don't have the means. I appreciate that super chat. There's Zillion. This is the goal. Nothing bigger than that. If you can bust NASA in a lie, and all of them saying they're going to the moon, because back then they didn't have the capabilities. Back when they were supposed to have went to the moon, they was still black and white or whatever. Like, no one had these cameras and had all the tech like we got now to put this thing to bed. Like, these guys are gonna bounce off the firmament, or you're gonna see them go straight on through. And see, they can fake what they're displaying to you through your TV. But, man, you lock onto an object on the ground, taking off, and it's there, Cape Canaveral, and you follow it all the way. I don't see how there's any fakery there. And how they're going to get one by you, and how they're going to get one by the thousands of eyes out there doing it. Thousands of people doing this. You really test them. I don't care if it's just 5 of us doing it. If 5 of us are set up out there watching this thing, we still would smoke them. It really helped to have one down there in Florida, almost right underneath the launch, right toward the moon. And it really helped to catch a launch, knowing that there's going to be a full moon that day, that night. Oh, perfect. Perfect. They couldn't hide nothing, man. I can't wait. It's going to be a defining moment, because they can't hide it. Either you're going or you're not. Either you're going to fake it, or we're going to see this thing go through, huh? Can't wait. Can't wait to see what happens with our own eyes. Trump says tech giants must bear the cost of all these data centers. Now look, I just told you this. I just told you this about nuclear plants and all this. So he's saying all these tech giants, the big dogs out there, not only do they got to build these electricity centers, but they've got to pay for it. So look what they're doing. Microsoft, OpenAI, and I'm sure a long list of other ones, they're going to demand subsidies, like money back and all this stuff. Whether they get it or not is yet to be seen, but I'm telling you, this whole thing's a scam. You look at the guys, Bill Gates, Peter Thiel, Jeff Bezos, all the billionaires that are lined up right now to set up shop up in Greenland. And what it's really about, what they're looking to do, man, I'm going to dive into that here in its own little piece when we get to it. But it all seems to always circle back around. Oh, damn. Always circles back around. When I'm in the economic part, There's no way of dodging what's going on in the world with war and all this other stuff because it affects this big time. And I can't help but keep thinking, you're painting a picture in my mind of all these places that are popping up, and they all have to build their own little power plant on their property. Like, what in the world is about to happen to the grid? They won't be in the dark because they were mandated and forced to not be. They'll be thinking they're lucky stars when we're all in the dark, and they're not. That's exactly what's going to happen. And when I sit here and I beat my head against the wall, and I try to think, like, make sense of why would they ever do this? Well, if you know something huge is going to come and the grid's going to go down, this is the move you would make. This is the exact move I would make. I've sat here and I played this out, played it out, put myself in the shoes of Trump, of the bad guys, of the criminal, trying to figure out how they're going to do this, how they're going to walk this whole thing out. And I look at the things they're doing, and it's like, hold on, like, why would I do this? Why would I mandate it? Why would I mandate it sternly? And then give them all these options to make sure that it happens. But why? Well, we need them online. Why would they be offline? I'm sitting here looking at my vision board where I wrote lights out years ago. It came to me one day, 2026. And although I've erased all these other things and put different things up, goals, I left that. Because until it passes, here we are, interesting time. Well, the lights go out, you better be ready. That's all I could say. We only made a song about it and have talked about it for a decade. Trump wears diapers. I don't doubt it at this point. No doubt. I made the song with Crown Jewels. He just slides in right there. Yeah. I'll have to play it tonight. I'll play it at the end of the stream. I play our music every now and then. Sometimes YouTube gives me copyright issues on my own music. All the time. That's why I don't play it as much. That's why. It's screwed up, man. Remember, I mean, this is a platform that they gave me issues with my backup channel. I had to change the name and do all this stuff. And all I could chalk up to it in the end is that once AI was deployed here, it couldn't differentiate between me and the backup channel with like almost the same name, just off like a number. Should have been able to, but it was flagging all types of stuff. It's and I don't know. It's crazy. Listening to Soundgarden, Bones go, hey, much love, old school, man. Stuff like that's nostalgic. Take me back in time, man. Isn't that what nostalgia is all about, man? Taking you back to that point in time where things were better. Things were better. That's all that mattered, right? Things were better back then when that song was playing. You're damn right. Because today it's all hell. You're dang right. Try not to even say damn anymore. Unless it deserves it, right? Newsco. Trying to keep the billionaires in California. Vows to kill the wealth tax. Interesting. This kind of shows he's feeling the heat. The top dogs there, Google, Larry Page, Sergey Brin, they're bouncing. They're the latest dudes to say, see ya, we're not doing this. Following all the other guys that have left, including Elon, he's in a predicament where he's going to have to take an L. They're going to have to, he has to kill this. He has to go against this because you're going to run them all out. I don't understand for the life of me how so many of the wealthiest are running. All right, guys, You're all about doing all these crazy things. Like, why don't y'all put up a fight? Like, Elon, Larry, Bryn, like, oh, come on. Y'all put your money together. I don't see why y'all didn't fight for California. Be honest, instead of running like some. But I mean, if you can't, maybe they did. Maybe they saw there's not a war to win, because it's hard for me to believe that they didn't try. It's just that bad. Wow. If that's the case, man, it's like a ship that's sinking. When you see guys like this leaving, again, Newsom's going to do what he can. This is the projected top pick for the Democrats the next election. Could be AOC running alongside of him. Who knows what. As long as he's alive and breathing, right? No, it's not a death threat. I'm just saying. Anything can happen. This is the man. And if the deep state decides to give you this man, this is who you're going to get. They chose to give you Biden, or a guy in a mask. Go more by the name of Biden. But man, they're putting a lot of weight behind him. Big time. Okay, 92% of employed Americans have cut back on spending across the board because the standard of living is crumbling. Chuck's they're talking about, Trump's over here talking about tariffs, and big checks that are going to be cut. So much money's being made off the tariffs, blah blah blah, but people are not seeing it. And straight up, they're like lying, and again, in a black magic type of way to their base, or to the people, and saying that the people are not paying for this. The people are paying for this. I've seen it left and right. I've had people report on it and tell me straight up items that they've bought from other countries overseas. They get the bill in the mail, and it's hundreds of dollars more on a small item, which is ridiculous. So the tariffs have been something that have affected us big time. There's no doubt about that. If he's going to start cutting, because he's saying, let's do away with the income tax. We've made so much money off tariffs. Let's do away. Well, like, if you're going to do those things, do them. And like, because he's at a point, if you've made so much money, then they either got to start cutting checks to the people, which they talked about and said, or if you're taking in money that much, he even said this out of his own mouth. If we're already bringing in this much money to tariffs, then do away with the income tax. All right, big boy, do it. Because we all know it's a rigged game and a sham anyway. If you've came up with some other way, which, look, I'm going to tell you right now, I just told you. Oh my gosh, it's like black magic. The people don't see it. They're like switching out. I could see them doing this. I could see them taking the income tax and doing away with it and look at the hero. But you're paying for the tariffs. Everybody is. They just don't even seem to realize it. Like the frog being boiled. They don't even seem to realize it till they're cooked. Until, somebody actually goes and buys something from out of the country. And then they have to pay the tariff. And they're like, what the? Just like every single other person I'm telling you about. Maybe some of you it's happened to. Standard of living is crushed. Affordability. What is affordable? Like, you see it all over the place. Not only has the dollar lost its value, you see precious metals running. Which is I'm about to jump into that on a tear. Right? The dollar, they say like most of the dollars in circulation right now, they were all printed within the past 10 years, which is nuts to think about. They just keep printing. And Jerome Powell just came out and said this, like, we print them. We just print the money. We can print it digitally. He kept saying digitally. And it's like worthless. This was all based on faith. When you take the gold away from a currency, it's all a faith-based system. It's either that or you go around threatening everybody at the barrel of a gun, which is what the United States did for a long time. They had the guns, they had the might, they had the power to do it, and they did it. Now the game's shifting. Everyone's stacked up their gold and silver. It's going through the roof. And you've got other countries about to back their currency with gold, their contracts with gold. You even had Tether, not even a country, Tether, the digital stablecoin, saying it's about to back itself with gold. This is after it attached itself to the dollar, or they attached the dollar to it, should I say. They made Tether. It was created in the Bahamas. Okay, we've known all about this for a long time, the masterminds behind all this. I told you who created Bitcoin, who Satoshi is. He's on the U.S. team inside. It's built on the foundation, a hash that was created by the NSA, for crying out loud. It's all obvious. And if they didn't, they would never let it in their system. If say the Chinese made it or something, they would never allow it in their system. Okay, they wouldn't. All right, so proof is in the pudding. You can tell them by the fruits. And they attached the dollar to the Tether, both their babies, okay, through the Genius Act, which, again, everyone is just derelict and docile out here and don't use their brain ever to even think about nothing. They don't even realize what's happened when these bills get pushed into place. They don't even know. They don't care. It's right past them. That's why they do it and get away with it all the time, is people never say anything about it. That's why I speak about it, to bring it out of the darkness into the light. Okay, this is what they're doing. A manipulative move right in front of your face. Okay, but again, most of the people don't get it because Trump told them, "Oh, you're not going to get a CBDC," and threw them that bone, and like a dog, they chewed on it and just went back to the corner and sat down and shut up and didn't say nothing else. They should be screaming to the high heavens that this is all set up. This is all crap. And saying exactly what I'm saying to you, that you created Tether, you connected the dollar to Tether, which is digital, making it a 1-for-1, okay, digital dollar right there. And now they come out and say they're going to back the Tether with gold. So everyone uses and utilizes the Tether. Why wouldn't you? If you're going to utilize one of any of all these digital currencies around the planet, which is where they're taking this, what, even if it wasn't digital, if it was just a fiat paper currency, why would you use any currency outside of the one that's backed by gold? If you could walk into a bank and walk out with the gold, you can't do that with anything else. You'd be a fool to use anything else. This is what makes certain currencies so powerful and what made ours so powerful back in the day. But they stripped it of it because of the military might and their scam and their scheme. Well, that's about up. So I just explained to you again how they're backing the dollar through Tether with gold right in front of your face. Look good, look it up. Type it up, go look it up if you don't believe it. You'll see the Tether is backing themselves with like it's a 1,000th piece of gold. It's called something like a succo or something weird. I covered it. That's going to be game changing. It's going to be the U.S. dollar's last ditch attempt to save itself and to write away a bunch of debt through gold going through the roof. And there's going to have to be some kind of event. There's no other way. It's the one thing we're missing is the event. We've been waiting this whole time. Great reset, this and that. There has to be an event. There has to be something big that ushers the masses, the crowd, onto a digital currency. And I've given plenty of ideas on how this could happen. Very easily, you could do it without a lot of panic. But to be honest, if you're the bad guys, you want a little panic. A little panic in the beginning don't hurt. What's it going to hurt? Seriously, what is it going to hurt? A little panic. You want them to panic if you're the bad guys because you want them to take what you're about to give them, which is very simple, a digital wallet. All you got to do is freeze their money. Okay? It's all you got to do. Wake up tomorrow. They can't spend their money. It lasts throughout the weekend. 3-4 days. Almost just like a lights out event. If you cut their money off, you hit the 3 or 4 day event of the event, people go into panic mode quickly. So that's when they introduce a fix. Just download this digital wallet from your bank and it will be accepted everywhere. Everyone is told they've got to accept it. And they can because it's already set up for them to accept it. That's what no one sees as well. The infrastructure is already set up. It's a trap. It's a play. They just need to get the whole crowd onto the new system. It's sitting there, ready to go. Okay, so that is the Great Reset again. The big event. It's not happened. This seems to be the year of it. Remember, Rothschild's Economist magazine cover said the year ahead, 2026, and it showed just that. An economic reset happening this year. At least the beginning phases of it. Clearly, had two swords over the front of the chart going straight downhill. And what they had Orange Man, the Gentile Messiah, sitting right next to it, pointing at it. Of all things, everything going on that cover, one thing he's sitting there pointing straight at it. Yep. Couldn't make it more sinister. And right below it, a gavel coming down, and right below that, a dollar sign in tatters, all blood red. Oh yeah, I mean, how much more obvious can you get? Just a friendly reminder. So, precious metals on an absolute tear, and this is. Guys, Steely, thank you for the coffee. I don't know what to say outside of let me go over here. I gotta pull up. Look, man, we get a refresh. This is crazy. Oh yeah, yeah, nice pullback. I'm rooting for pullback because I want everybody in. Okay, this is great. $90, fabulous. Look at that, and look what it did. I'm gonna tell you what it pulled back on because the news of Trump trying to say that there's not going to be war. He said this. It was kind of breaking news. There's a lot going on. I'm gonna go into this piece by piece, and things are fluid. They could be talking a lot of smack. Okay, which they did last time, but people have short memories, and a lot of things that happened last time are happening again. You remember me saying that? Remember me saying that last time, right before they hit Iran, the things they did, they're happening again, and you're gonna see that. So gold is the driver, and look, it took a huge dive off, and then came up, and then it's diving back down again. Silver. All the metals are going to follow that pattern. Oh, we dove down to 88, 82. Nice. So this is just to try to rebound. And I'd like to see it come off the shelf. Oh, all right. 89.91. Keep on coming down, big boy. Keep on coming down. I'm doing this for everybody's sake. There has to be, I want everybody to get in and have a chance. I have so many people that are like, man, will it slow down? Will it slow down? I'm hoping it's it, man. A lot of this stuff is based off news, but I will say the moment that they drop bombs on Iran again, it's just going to turn around and go the other way. Okay, so just get it while the getting is good. You got to start to understand these dips. I do this, man. Look, for those of you that follow me, all that you hear all the time for most of the shows, then you get it by now. You have to see it by now. There's a pattern. When the war pops, the metals are run. When peace is talked, everything will pull back and drop out. Okay, just like oil did earlier. Everything. When they talk war, things spike. Okay, especially when the bombs start to drop out of nowhere. So why is this? This is because Trump said he got a confirmation from Iran that they were not going to kill no one else, and that they're ready for talks and all this other crap, and it was enough to stop everything dead in its tracks. But I'm going to tell you that we don't just go off of that. We go off of largely anymore military movement, because that's what speaks volumes, and that tells a different story. Okay, so I think they're giving a head fake right now, and I also think they could be. A matter of fact, it looks like they're buying time to get an aircraft carrier or some warships out of the Caribbean. It's going to take about a week to get over to this neck of the woods, at least close enough to be effective on the war front for anything with Iran. But that's just one of many. Now, again, that's the war stuff tying into all this economic stuff. It's big. It's correlated. Get another refresh. See how quick this thing's dropping now. Huh? It's holding around 90 right now. If you go and you try to buy any of the sites right now, you probably ain't gonna get nothing. Okay? It's going down. Okay? Let me just pull up my feed here on X. And a much love to everybody out there that shares the stream. Check this out. This is nuts. Because I tell you all the time, go out there, grab you 2 or 3 places, take the best price, go with that. It's the best option. Never just go with one place. Have a couple options out there for your gold and silver. Maybe you got one place that's good. Good for you if that's the case. But sometimes staying with one place, they can end up gouging you, is my point. Having a couple options keeps it honest, right? And thank you, Lowrider, man. I always love seeing you sliding in, man. Good to see you alive and breathing, brother. Thank you for gifting the memberships. Everyone that got them, welcome to the underground. I appreciate that to the fullest, my man. Lowrider. All right, so I know Lowrider is a stacker. And a lot of you are out there. A lot of the pure bloods out there, stackers here. And I know some of you have made out like bandits. This is what I was saying. What I kicked out in a message was like, the people that have been buying since $12, if you've been buying with me, I put out a video over a decade ago, buying $12. Beast, the whole Beast system video and all that stuff. That was how much it moved this week alone. So what we were buying it for back then, it's moving that much in a week's time right now. It's insane. Like, so check this out. AppMex tells customers that open this up here. They say the largest silver and gold bullion dealer in the USA just imposed a $10,000 minimum on orders to deal with a massive volume of orders on their system. So they're not taking anything less than $10,000. Look, dude, this is like startling. You ain't getting it now. This is the move you make to force most of the commoners out of doing what everyone's been trying to do here. It's buying up the ounces, and they're going to stop it. So a $10,000 minimum right now. You ain't getting it. Unless you're going to go spend the 10. You should have did that. I've been telling you forever. If you'd have parked 10 back when, get out of here, right? Like, man, salutes to everybody that listened. I know you got to be feeling good about it. Not just this. I'd be stacking copper, gold, all of them at this point. A $10,000 minimum. Okay. They're also removing pre-sale items. This is craziness. There were orders weeks ago when it was in the 70s, lower 80s. And I was telling y'all, they weren't scheduled to go out until the 16th, which is here in like 2 days. You get to this point, look where we're at. We're in the 90s, knocking on 100's door. If it wasn't for this pullback, for this, for the news tonight, dude, silver was hitting 100. It's still right there. I mean, come on, man. It's right there. I know we clipped 94 today. So look, this is crazy. That right there is just crazy. Like, it is. There's no other way around it. People come in, oh, that ain't true, Bill. I can get all the gold, iron, silver I want at my dealer. Well, then go have at it, you smack ass, smart ass, because that's all you are. You show up all the time saying it, and I gotta clown you because you deserve it. This is one of the largest places out there, and many of the others are probably gonna follow suit. Look, man. So people butthurt because they didn't make the move. I don't know. Look right here. Crude oil tumbling after Trump said he opened up talks with Iran. Okay, so there we go. Cracked 92 today. Then we cracked 93. Then we cracked 94. Okay, that's what silver's doing. Okay, that's what silver's doing. And you can see all the warnings I got over here on Iran, on the outage. Oh, and here's one. Here's Trump saying it's vibrant that robots are coming in. And to hell with 5,000 of you in your jobs. He's so quick to get snappy. This guy's being easy with Trump. He ain't trying to attack him hardly in any means. And Trump jumped in the
President, I'm just trying to be fair here. Just trying to do my job, and I want to talk about this assembly line here.
To me, it's vibrant. Listen to the sound.
It's incredible, right?
I love the sound of an assembly.
President, I'm just trying to be fair here. Just trying to do my job, and I want to talk about this assembly line here.
To me, it's vibrant. Listen to the sound.
It's incredible, right?
I love the sound of an assembly line.
It's incredible. But they've got one not far from here. They just idled the electric vehicle plant.
Well, yeah, but it's going to gasoline vehicles.
Yeah, it's going to go to gasoline.
Well, but why don't you say that, Tony? You can't say.
You didn't give me a chance. I'm coming there. I'm coming around.
I agree. I said I want electric and I want gasoline and I want hybrids. I want everything. But you were going to be forced under the mandate to buy an electric car in a very short period of time. I didn't want that, and I ended that. Now people can have electric, they can have gasoline, they can have hybrid.
But are they going to have people to build these cars? The CEO of Ford said not long ago he's got 5,000 open mechanic jobs. He can't find people willing and able to fill them.
That's a good thing, Tony.
That
means
thing.
It's vibrant. You could
It's
also
vibrant.
have things where you have so many people and they can't get jobs. It's a good thing, Tony. That means it's vibrant. You could also have things where you have so many people and they can't get jobs. It's true. We are doing so well, it's hard. Now, what's going to happen is people are being trained rapidly, and you're going to have a thing called robots. And robots are going to be a big factor. I predict that robots are going to be a big factor in the future, and it's going to help out. But you have a situation now where our economy is doing so well that it's not that easy to get people.
Oh, no. This is a bubble that's about to pop, and it's going to be a disaster of our lifetimes. And it's going to be the catalyst of a reset here. Make sure to follow me again over on X. Got a lot of stuff over there. I'm kicking out, and one more refresh on the silver. 89 is still coming down. So come on down. That's what I say for all of them. Now, if you missed it, check this out. There is a big situation between Trump and Jerome Powell. Jerome Powell runs the Federal Reserve. Right? He's like the main dude. The Federal Reserve is not even part of our federal government, if you don't know. It's just a name given to it strategically to fool everyone, to make everyone think that it's legitimate and a part of our federal government. when it's a privately owned entity. You live in a huge game here, technically inside of a corporation called the United States of America, and you are an employee to your social security number of this, and Donald Trump is the president of this corporation. Okay, Powell, who technically could be fired, they say, by Trump, he's going to be replaced in May here anyway. But Trump's got a beef with him. Trump's been saying, you need to bring down all these rates and you need to basically make cuts. And he's not making enough cuts to affect the economy, to help the economy. This is the one area where Trump can't strong arm him. Like, is not having his way. So, like, Trump and them want like a 50 basis point cut or something. So they sent him a letter saying that, look, we're coming for you. And he put out a video saying, look, this is crazy. The Trump administration is trying to come for me for stuff I didn't do. Well, now they're saying that he's responsible for trillions in unnecessary U.S. debt. And this is crazy. How they're gonna roll this one. First off, it always takes me back to what's in Fort Knox. What's gonna happen with this situation? I don't know. Will he do a huge cut? They have a meeting here in January 31st. I think that he'll roll out a cut, at least like a 25 base point cut. He could roll out a 50. If he rolls out a 50, what that tells me is that, like, that's going to be his last move. He's going to be like, there's a 50 cut for you, Trump. Get off my tail. Quit trying to put me in jail and talk all this crap. And, like, then he's only got a short time and he's off the clock. He's out of here. And then one of these Kevins, there's two dudes and they're running to take his spot. Both named Kevin. One of them's going to get the spot more than likely. And they're going to roll out the Mar-a-Lago Accord, which everyone sleeps on as well. Mar-a-Lago Accord has everything to do with the Great Reset of this country and all the money and how everything flows. So that's what's about to happen and what's coming. So I wouldn't doubt it if Powell did do some 50 base point cut. Just like I said, to get him off his back. He either does something or he doesn't at this point. So, I don't know. Again, that's not even a real federal agency. The people should be out there protesting all this, but we have no protest nowhere. And it's absolutely pathetic. Country's dead. So the SEC chair says it remains to be seen whether the U.S. is going to seize Venezuela's Bitcoin. And how could that be? How would they not? How would they not? I reported on this before. They got a main guy down there that's been stacking Bitcoin for a long time in Venezuela. It's known. And he's got a lot. 600,000 Bitcoin. You think that they're going to leave $60 billion sit on the table? I wouldn't be surprised if this guy himself in this alone isn't targeted in all this. Straight up. You see how they are. You see how Mafia Don Trump here is going about business everywhere. Strong arming. I don't see how they leave 60 billion on the table. I mean, I could see Eric Prince and some of the mercenaries looking at that money on the table like, yo, we could go get him. For that kind of money, oh yeah, 60 billion. Oh yeah. Like, I just, come on. There's no way. Even if it was 6 billion, I could see them going after him. There's no way they just leave it. There's no way. There's no way. Like, something's gonna happen with us. You better watch his tail. He's probably being stalked right now harder than anyone in that country. I'm not kidding. So if he's even in there, so they have to find him and they get the keys and all this other stuff, or try to seize wherever he's holding the Bitcoin. So this is a big story that happened today. Let me know in the chat if it's affected you. I want to say as an update, it looks like it was largely Verizon that was affected, although people said that there are services in the chat, in my comments, they were saying other services were down in other places. So because this is what ended up happening. T-Mobile and AT&T put out a statement and they said that their services were fine and that they think that all the chatter was people not able to make calls to Verizon customers, and that is why people were saying their phone lines were down, but they weren't actually down. That could have been semi-true. But I did have people in the comment section saying that their service was down for like T-Mobile and in different areas. You can go and you can look. And maybe you guys you experienced it, but they're saying that a lot of this had to do with this Verizon, whatever happened there going down. And then there was questions rising, like, was this a hack? Like, what happened? Why did this happen? And if it was just them, like at the same time, it's weird. Because after a little bit of time, this picture don't show it, but like AWS started to spike. Google. It's like, hold on. That makes no sense. You can't make that excuse now. Like AWS web service, there's no way. Like, there seemed like there was something going on today, man. A lot of people are saying, is this a beta test? With everything going on with Iran and all this, like them vowing to strike us, something's going to happen. A cyber attack like this would be small potatoes compared to like lights out. You heard what Trump just said about robots. They're about to roll them out big time. You heard what he said. His response to 5,000 jobs was that robots is going to take it. It's going to be vibrant. What does that do for humans? Like, it does not. It's going to be great, he says. He always says it's always going to be fabulous. Everybody loves it. Like, he's so full of crap. Here comes the hardest hitting year on humans yet, where AI and robots are pushed full scale into our lives like never before. And people are going bankrupt and living without any paychecks right now. Harder than any other time before. What a coincidence, huh? You think it's going to get better? Vibrant? I don't think so. This dude lives in his own little fantasy land. The Gentile Messiah. Oops. Go into this next one. And this right here, I've got this one pulled up for one reason only. To point out the title. And that I don't buy this, and neither should you. The globalist deep state in panic mode after Trump gets his Trump's cash cut off. They're trying to say that he's in there cutting off cash to different places and different people. That's garbage. The whole deep state thing is a lie. It's garbage. Go arrest them. You won't. You won't. Never. And you know it. Like, I'm light years above this. I'm not trying to brag, but I've been here for so long watching this. This is all garbage. It's all left-right paradigm. And if you're for 1 second in there tooting the horn of either side, you're caught in it. Caught in it. Okay? When you should know better at this point, but follow me. Of course, the left stands for some heinous things and do that the whole time. The right has been the side that they tried to usher everybody into, just like with Trump and the whole majority. It's obvious when you look back, but they control both sides. It doesn't take away from the fact. Just because they made one side look better than the other. So, for no one to never go to jail You'll tell them by the fruits. And they are garbage. And right at the gate, when Trump never went after Hillary, after running Hillary for president, I knew that was my moment back then. I was like, everyone, looking around, everyone's saying this, saying that, this, and that. I was like, I followed Trump's entire run. Okay. I went to all these places. I covered all these rallies. I was at the RNC. I was at the inauguration. I watched all these people sell t-shirts and buttons and making millions of dollars like InfoWars and all them off Hillary for prison. Hillary for prison. And how could you not be about it? They literally got rich off of it, right? Right? Never happened. Nobody cares to hold Trump accountable for it. Even dare. Just like no one in MAGA would dare do anything. Cowards. Pathetic. Cowards. Pedo-protecting cowards. Oh, MAGA's gone. MAGA don't even hardly exist anymore. Just some shills. Majority of them that was left and all that Trump cares about, it wasn't even MAGA to begin with. It was MEGA. It was make Israel great again. And he's openly saying it and showing it. And saying it in his tweets and posts. He don't care about any of he don't care about nobody. And we're going to tap into that here in a second. But where's all the arrests, that big guy? Nowhere. Garbage clown show. Half their people are just fraudulent. In some of these people's spots, they're there to get hung out to dry. If any heat's going to come down on Trump, he'll turn his ire towards somewhere else, just like he's doing with Bondi. Pam Bondi catching hell from Trump because no one's getting prosecuted, no one's going to jail. Well, like fire her or stick somebody in there. Like, that will do it. Like, it makes no sense. Bongino's garbage. Patel's garbage. Well, Bongino's gone now. They will replace these guys like Bongino if they're not effective. So Pam Bondi will get replaced. Tulsi Gabbard was just threatened here recently. They were like, is she the next to go? Look, he will turn on anyone and everyone. You wonder why Massey and MTG jumped ship early? What was the line in the same where they jumped? Pedos. Well, guess what? I salute everybody that does. Everybody did. It's better if somebody jumps the ship now. The sooner the better for them, because it's sinking quick, instead of getting caught in this, because it's not good. There's plenty of good people that have already left, people that were over there that admitted it's okay to say I voted for Trump. It's okay. Versus Biden, it's okay. It's okay to say, I messed up. I didn't know that he was a pedo protector. Hey, everybody has their moment. Everybody has their epiphany. Everybody has their time where they gotta say, see ya. Most people, though, that don't do it or won't do it are the ones that are so heavily invested in it. Like it's a clique or a gang. You know what I'm saying? And again, a lot of those people never had nothing in life, never were part of a club, never were part of a ball team or anything like that. And it's like everything to them. It's become that to them. They don't care about nothing else. They don't want to hear. They blind out all the pedo talk. They put it in the back burner. They turn a cheek and look the other way. They act like they don't hear it every time. Oh, looky over here. Looky over there. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Some of the guys that I thought were the biggest patriots that I met in this life, they've turned out to be fraudulent. Big frauds. Not big patriots, big frauds. All about just taking a picture with Trump and tweeting it out and popping off at the mouth on X every day. That's all they're about. Mega MAGA, whatever. They never want to face the fire or none of this critical stuff around Trump. Never, ever. You'll never see that in their feed. Never, ever. And just keep on pushing the crap. It's disgusting. It's pathetic. But if you see him in the flesh and you call him out, they'd be like, oh, I know, Dabu. I know, man. I'm just, and they try. You're just what? Bitching out? Selling out? They don't fly with me, partner. It's garbage. That tells me, dude, you'd smoke me, you'd sell me out in a heartbeat. For your mega jump. Bunch of busters out there, man. I say these things so y'all don't find out the hard way. Right? Because I've done it. I've ran the street. I've met all these characters. I've met them. I know them. And it's different to see somebody in the flesh. What? Because then you feel the energy. I don't care how big they are, small, I don't care any of it. It's all about the energy. You can't hide that. Every time they got that fake energy, they always hide it behind that fake friendliness up front every time. Fake love. Because they're fakes. I don't know. Some of these people, man, for it's all said and done, they're probably gonna. I don't know how they're gonna be able to look in the mirror at night. This thing's falling apart on them. I say this. I have a responsibility here to be truthful and honest about it all, and to keep you guys in the know and put it on record everything that's happened to me and everything that I see and that I've gone through. There ain't nothing but a ton of shills out there. Half of all these, more than half, 90% of all these characters out here in this game are just in it for the money or the fame. It's it, or both. It's it. You know, and there's a ton of these guys out here that are on your social media every day that are millionaires, and it's disgusting. How can you be? Any real truther that's been in this game, this is a fraction of the time that I've been. You know, you've got a taste on how hard it is. The censorship, what they do to you, all the attacks, the defunding, all of it. So when you hear that these guys are like making millions and they're in the feed being promoted every single day, well, come on, give me a break. It's obvious. We get the exact opposite treatment. We get put in the dungeon, heavily censored, deplatformed, demonetized, all this other crap that you got to go through. That's the real. That's how you tell the real from the fake. Do you understand me? I should be like, I should, in all actuality, be doing some things, but I have such a disdain for the fakes out here and all this crap I see. I don't even sell t-shirts. I should all day for all of us, for people that want it, for the option. It should be there. The rep the underground should have items that people can get, but it's not even there. Because of my disdain for shills. So, the support that I get from you guys out there, coffees, PayPals, it's all that. That's why I appreciate it more than anything. To the fullest. Because I put it in your hands to support the truth and to keep it alive out here. Instead of selling you product, male vitality, stay tuned for this commercial break. You don't deal with that with me. I give it to you raw, real. Even all my videos I drop straight to the point, short, straight. I give it to you how I would want to receive it. 1010. Hey, that's crazy. Much love with 1010. 1010 is a key sign, and I'm gonna tell you this. It didn't happen tonight, but like last week on a stream, there was a synchronicity with 1010. The very next night, it happened again. I think I didn't make a big deal of it, but I think I might have said something about it. But today, I'm doing my thing. I got doing all these things I got to do throughout the day, right? In the morning, everybody's got the routine, all these things they got to do. And the moment that I am called to just my consciousness, I pull to go check my computer, sit down. It's like, all right, I'm here. What I do is always look over, I check the phone, and I do it. And like, what is it? 10:10. Let's get it going, baby. That was my worst day. And, let's go. Let's go. Like 10:10. So here I am on the other 10:10, the other side of the day. Time flies, don't it? It's going down in Minneapolis right now. It's a Cecil. Yeah, I know. Thank you for the update. It's been going down. I mean, if there's something in particular, like if they're burning down a certain building or something crazy, if you got any links, let me know, bro. I appreciate the heads up and the information. And if you do send it somewhere, let me know at me like Ava did so I could see it. Binary code 1010. Hey, man. It's something. Hey, balance. Hey. All right. See, some of you starting to see it. Look. All right. Where are we at here? I'm chopping some of this down. All right. I'm going to dive in here and show this is crazy. This is Senator Josh Hawley repeatedly asking this lefty doctor, woke doctor, if men can get pregnant, trying to simply just get a yes or a no. I guess when someone doesn't give you a yes or a no and they're beating around the bush constantly, that it's bad. But this one's bad. I'm going to run this one so you can see it. Kenzo, man. Much love. I appreciate you. For real. To the fullest. We'll run this piece, give some thoughts on it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Since you bring it up, why don't we just start there? Dr. Verma, I wasn't sure I understood your answer to Senator Moody a moment ago. Do you think that men can get pregnant?
I hesitated there because I wasn't sure where the conversation was going or what the goal was. I mean, I do take care of patients with different identities. I take care of many women. I take care of people with different identities. And so that's where I paused. I think, I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
Well, the goal is just the truth. So can men get pregnant?
Again, the reason I paused there is I'm not really sure what the goal of the question
The goal is just to establish a biological reality. You just said a moment ago that science and evidence should control, not politics. Absolutely. So let's just test that proposition. Can men get pregnant?
I take care of people with many identities, but
can men get pregnant?
Many women that can get pregnant. I do take care of people that don't identify as women. That
can men get pregnant?
Again, as I'm saying,
let me just remind you what you testified to a moment ago. Science and evidence should control, not politics. Absolutely. So can men get pregnant? You're a doctor, I think.
Science and evidence should guide medicine.
Do science and evidence tell us that men can get pregnant? Biological men, can they get pregnant?
I also think yes/no questions like this are a political tool. And
no, yes/no questions are about the truth, doctor. Let's not make a mockery of this proceeding. This is about science and evidence, and I'm asking you. The United States Supreme Court just heard arguments yesterday at great length on this question. This is not a hypothetical question. This is not theoretical. It affects real people in their real lives. And you're here as an expert, called by the other side as an expert. And you've been telling us that you follow, right, you're a doctor, and you follow the science and the evidence. So I just want to know, based on the science, can men get pregnant? That's a yes or no question. It really is, I think.
I think you're trying to reduce the complexity of a lot.
I'm not. I'm trying to get, it's not complex. I'm trying to get to an answer, and I'm trying to test, frankly, your veracity as a medical professional and as a scientist. Can men get pregnant?
I think you're also conflating
this is extraordinary.
Male with
no, I'm not conflating male and female. They're two different things. There's biological men and there's biological women. And I want to know, can men get pregnant?
What you were talking about is biological.
You're not going to answer my question.
Biological males.
This isn't hard, doctor. Can men get pregnant? Yes or no?
Again, I would be more than happy to have a conversation with you that is not coming from a place of trying to be polarized and push.
I'm not trying to be polarizing. I'm trying to ask, I think it is extraordinary that we are here in a hearing about science and about women. And for the record, it's women who get pregnant, not men. We are here about the safety of women and science that shows that this abortion drug causes adverse health events in 11% of cases. That's 22 times greater than the FDA label, another fact you haven't acknowledged, and yet you won't even acknowledge the basic reality that biological men don't get pregnant. There's a difference between biological men and biological women. I don't know how we can take you seriously and your claims to be a person of science if you won't level with this on this basic issue. I thought we were past all of this, frankly. I can't believe we're still here talking.
And I'm not going to drag you through the next couple more minutes of it because he gives her chance after chance and she does the same thing. And I'm just, that right there, I mean, it's crazy they don't get her for like contempt or like he said, you know, he brought up the fact like you just testified this, you know, like, but I guarantee you without, you know, she went in circles, but she went in circles until she walked out of there. You know, so, someone, thank you for the coffee. Appreciate it to the fullest. We're going to keep this going here. This is like the same, this one right here is like the same way. An ACLU lawyer can't answer the question when Justice Alito asked her to define a man or a woman, boy or girl. So check this one out here.
Is it not necessary for there to be, for equal protection purposes, if that is challenged under the Equal Protection Clause, an understanding of what it means to be a boy or a girl or a man or a woman?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is that definition? For equal protection purposes, what does it mean to be a boy or a girl or a man or a woman?
Sorry, I misunderstood your question. I think that the underlying enactment, whatever it was, the policy, the law, we'd have to have an understanding of how the state or the government was just understanding that term to figure out whether or not someone was excluded. We do not have a definition for the court. And we don't take issue with we're not disputing the definition here. What we're saying is that the way it applies in practice is to exclude birth sex males categorically from women's teams, and that there's a subset of those birth sex males where it doesn't make sense to do so according to the state's own interest.
Well, how can a court determine whether there's discrimination on the basis of sex without knowing what sex means for equal protection purposes?
Yeah. I mean, how? And they can't answer there again, and it go into a rhetorical bunch of crap to where they can't answer. They could answer, but they're refusing. That's crap. I don't know. So let's go to the Somali welfare stuff that's going on. The fraud in Minnesota, and get an update there. I'm just going to play a clip here of some of the newer stuff of what, I mean, this guy's made a name for himself, Nick Shirley up there exposing, breaking this whole thing open, and he's going around all over the place, still showing that this is widespread. Now, I don't know how the community, all the people that live up there in these neighborhoods and all this stuff, how you don't notice this going on in your neck of the woods. Hey, you don't notice this influx of a different kind of people that you've never seen before coming into your neck of the woods that don't speak your language, that are driving around, that open up these businesses doing what? There's a daycare. Do you ever see any kids in there or any of your kids going there? You know, like none of these questions were ever asked. So it's a good thing that he's opened eyes to this, because now everyday people are kind of looking around like, is that a legitimate thing or not?
No. You don't ask me nothing.
$2.25 million.
Get out.
Are we the only community that does fraud?
How come they said this building was closed?
Do you guys know where Advanced Mobility is? Advanced Mobility? Yeah, we're looking for it. Never heard of it?
They know we're shining the light on the fraud. and they have no defense.
Would you like to see anybody in the government here held accountable?
Most definitely, because there can definitely be an allocation of funds.
The Minnesota fraud scandal continues to get worse and worse as billions of dollars of fraud has been exposed, and as I showed the world the blatant fraud taking place at daycares and other locations across Minnesota, it became the most viewed video expose on the internet.
Yes, it places beyond daycares. The fraud is huge, billions of dollars. I just don't understand. So I'm glad that it's getting exposed. I suspect that when I mark my words, there's going to be other cities reach this level of fraud. Okay, other Dems, especially while Trump's in there. I fear for if they put Newsom in there or something crazy this next time around, all these laws that Trump put on the books against the other side is going to be used against the Trumpers in the other side. Period. That's super nightmare, but I just know that there's no way that this is just like this here. There has to be more fraud elsewhere. The way crime goes and the way that this is all these Dems involved, high-level Dems, they don't just all operate here. There's all kinds of other cities that I'm telling you, this is going to get busted open. This is going to be the reason that they send in like ICE teams on steroids into some of these places. Like they're using these ICE teams. I told you, they're going to do them for more than just immigration. When they find out there's fraud and this and that, the doors are going to be getting kicked in. At a certain level, it seems that like there's always a line where like certain low level guys can always get hung out to dry, but then you got a ring of guys a certain level that never get touched. Now, Trump's been threatening these guys for a minute, but yet Colorado, California, places to have governors and mayors within them that are all Democrats, like none of them have been arrested. These are places that are holding murderers and won't give them up, which makes no sense. Or letting them loose out the back door, basically, along with rapists, freeing them. That's treason. I don't stand for that. I don't see how anybody that lives in these areas is standing for that unless you just don't care. Well, I do care, but there's not much I can do because nobody else. I don't see why you're there. How you going to be somewhere if you care and no one else around you does? I said it earlier. When it comes to California, especially, it seems kind of obvious. Like, because I have to ask the question: why is it nobody standing and putting up a fight for it? Why ain't nobody putting up a fight for California? Well, it's pretty obvious that, like, if the world's richest man couldn't put up a fight for it, you ain't. I hate to tell you, if the world's richest man couldn't make it his paradise, then you ain't. All these people are fleeing. Like, it seems to be a political juggernaut that just isn't going to be cracked. I hope, I pray that the people rise and change the situation. But like, again, like, what's it going to take? Things are really bad, and it still doesn't matter. All people have known to do is leave. It's really not fixing an issue, right? But like, I don't know. I still would like to see like maybe they did and I missed it somehow, but like I would like to see like a real fight put up by Elon, or like by cats with money. Like I just said, Google ran out of there, Elon's out of there. It's hard for me to believe, like, with all that money and power them guys got, that they couldn't win the battle. So, it's like, wow, man, what's really going to go down with California, man? Is it next? Is it next? I could see it being targeted. Trump already targeted it in sending the troops in there. And what stands out to me about when he sent in troops, which hit the courts and all, he sent troops into all kinds of places, but it's National Guard largely. And then they made an executive order that there's going to be a contingent in every state of like 500 troops and this and that. But in California, he also sent in Marines, which was different. Talk about posse comitatus. You could say Title 42 and you can do all these things with National Guard, but when it comes to the Marines, it's a whole different ballgame. And Trump's already shown that he'll do it, though. If it's a situation, he'll do whatever. Because he showed already that he'll send National Guard wherever he wants and do whatever he wants. He'll deal with the courts later. That's what he's been doing. Where we at here? I'm going to keep it pushing. Trump flips off a heckler who shouts pedo slurs to him and calls him a pedo protector. This is at the Ford plant in Michigan. So the White House defends Trump. Of course, I mean, what else are they could do? But Trump's pissed. You could see he points at the dude. He points right at him and says, F you. Just like, you know, big. Right here. Pointed at him twice. And flipped him off. And then waves to everybody else, or like puts a wave up to whoever else is watching. But yeah, he points right at him. He says F you twice, and it seems, and throws him the bird. So that's that's interesting, don't you think? I think it's pretty hilarious. He gets pissed up. It shows that Trump is very butthurt over this whole Epstein thing. Super, super duper. You can tell the whole time he has been, but he is very bad. It's very bad. I can't help but just chuckle about that whole thing, about Trump getting pissed off and flipping into bird. So Ford, the guy at the Ford plant, gets suspended. And I'm all about truth being spoken, period. So what you have here is, it's pretty crazy. This worker throws up a GoFundMe. He's raised over $300K. How the wife of the woman that was killed in Minnesota had then made like over 1.5 million. So the suspended employee here, DJ Sabola, raised over $300,000 plus since the incident. But I mean, salutes. Yeah. You got the an F-bomb from the prez. Look, history repeats itself. Back in 1976, Vice President Nelson Rockefeller was famously photographed giving the finger to a heckler, a student at SUNY Binghamton. The student had given a gesture first, and Rockefeller said he was merely responding in kind. So, very similar. I looked down and it was all ones. So, chaos erupts as hundreds of Somalis storm an ICE operation at a strip mall in St. Cloud, Minnesota. I always thought that St. Paul and Minneapolis were unique. They're called the Twin Cities. If you don't know, if you've never been, it's nuts. I heard this, always heard of the Minnesota Twins baseball growing up, and I always heard this, but I never knew it till the first time I ever flew was by myself, really, a commercial. I went on a trip to the Marble Ranch, and this flight out of Texas landed in this area, St. Paul, Minnesota, whatever, the airport that's up there. And it was covered in snow, and I'll never forget it. It was like a fairy tale. I came down, it was all covered in ice and snow, and I looked, and there were two cities, like side by side. And I thought, I like the whole trip was a trip for me. Let's just put it that way. It was nuts, crazy experience. But like, I never forget, we were landing, like coming down, and like the clouds like split open, the sun came open, everything was white, lit up, and there was two cities like side by side. And I was like, what in the world am I looking at? Like two cities? Like, it was nuts. It's crazy layout. So it's got to be like almost like a metropolis up there because it's so big. That's the first time I'd seen it like that. I mean, perspective is everything. But it was nuts. But I hopped right on another plane, was across the country to the Marble Ranch. I didn't hang out there. I didn't spend no time to see anything in the area or what it was like on the ground. So I didn't get to see all these Somalis running around. Well, if you go up there, St. Cloud right now, I'm just going to show you, like, this is what you're going to get if you go up there right now. Okay? I mean, it's definitely mob mentality. They're all just like, like, I don't even know if they're saying anything. It's almost like they're barking or something. I don't know. It's, I don't know. And one white dude sitting here trying to calm him down, like, I don't know. It just seems like a lot of madness and chaos, and like, this is what you're gonna get if you go up there right now. Let's jump into some of the heavier stuff. And thank you, Low Rider, for sliding in with them coffees, man. Much love, brother. Appreciate it more than you know. The Clintons. Illuminati. The Clintons refused to testify about Epstein. First it was Bill. He was supposed to come in and give deposition. He refused. So they waited a day to see what would happen with Hillary. Of course, she did the same thing. They are refusing. So Comer is going to begin contempt proceedings. It's ridiculous. They think they're above the law. They're not. It is absolutely ridiculous.
I think everyone knows by now Bill Clinton did not show up. And I think it's important to note that this subpoena was voted on in a bipartisan manner by this committee. This wasn't something that I just issued as chairman of the committee. This was voted on by the entire committee in a unanimous vote of the House Oversight Committee to subpoena former President Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Now, Hillary Clinton's supposed to show up tomorrow. We'll see what happens there. But with respect to the former president, he did not show up today. One reason I think most Americans want President Clinton to answer some questions is because he visited the White House. Jeffrey Epstein visited the White House 17 times while Bill Clinton was president. I've been in Congress 9 years. I think I've been to the White House 9 times in 9 years. Epstein was in the White House double the amount of time that I was under one president. And then we know that Bill Clinton flew on Epstein's plane somewhere around 27 times after the presidency. So no one's accusing Bill Clinton of any wrongdoing. We just have questions, and that's why the Democrats voted along with Republicans to subpoena Bill Clinton. Not a single Democrat showed up today.
Not a single Democrat. The ones that have press conferences on the Capitol steps and talk about how they're trying to get justice for the victims and all that. It just seems like they only care about questioning Republicans. And we've had a former Trump cabinet secretary, Acosta, in for a grilling. We had Bill Barr, former attorney general, in for a grilling. But for whatever reason, President Clinton didn't show up, and the Democrats on the committee don't seem to have a problem. This is the amount of preparation that went into this deposition today. These were the questions that we were prepared to ask. We've communicated with President Clinton's legal team for months now, giving them opportunity after opportunity to come in, to give us a date, and they continue to delay to the point where we had no idea whether they're going to show up today or not. I think it's very disappointing. As a result of Bill Clinton not showing up for his lawful subpoena, which again was voted on unanimously by the committee in a bipartisan manner, we will move next week in the House Oversight Committee markup to hold former President Clinton in contempt of Congress.
So you heard him right there. They're going to move this week coming up to hold him in contempt of Congress. And it's going to be him and Hillary both, because they both are in this boat. And yeah, like, something's got to give, right? Arrest them all day long. But they're scared. You can tell. They don't want to go in and say a word, because look at the binder he had. They're going to start asking questions, and those questions, I mean, it's like any other lawyer. They always say, like, don't say anything, even to the cops when they show up. Like, you have a right to remain silent, right? Well, like, as soon as they start asking questions and Bill starts answering or saying anything, it's on. And again, thank you, Lowrider, man, for them coffees. I don't know if you just did that twice, but I got two alerts there. Much love. So, Bill Gates announces plans to lay off up to 500 staff after $8 billion goes to his ex-wife Belinda, who divorced him over why? Did everybody forget? Why did she divorce him? What does it say? Over his Jeffrey Epstein links. Dude, that's pretty bad and bold when that was the sole reason for the divorce here, like in the open. So she could distance, so she could save her ass, her skin. Because she's probably thinking along the lines like she knows he was there screwing young girls. And it was obviously at this point, it seems it's something that he was heavily, probably by himself, taking little flights out to and partaking in with the guys and all these young girls, you know, and her not around in the picture. Because she doesn't seem to be, the heat doesn't seem to be bearing down on her. Her name doesn't seem to be popping up on the flight logs and all these other things like his does. Just like Bill's pops up on these flight logs and Hillary's, it's not always there, you see. So Bill and Hillary are in this whole situation that we all know. I mean, come on, this is Bill Clinton, man. Everybody forgets this is the guy that got caught with Monica Lewinsky and the whole thing and the wife. Come on, man. Come on. Like, you know, this guy is done some dirt. And you can say the same thing for Bill. I think it's damning. It's damning that she did this. It's almost like a guilty. It's almost like it's like you're guilty, Bill. Like, her actions done did you in. It's almost just like Prince Andrew, his pedophilia. All the same thing, same ring, same circle, same thing. He ain't been charged in court with nothing. Remember, Cash Patel said, "Oh, there was nobody." Blah blah blah. No, but he got his freaking royal title stripped from him. He got neutered. He got it all taken from him, from the royals. That is damning. That is guilt if you've ever seen it. I mean, give me a break. So both of them are guilty. Just if you look at the ones that are around him, the ones around him, closest to them, have declared them guilty. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And Cash Patel wants to say there's no limit. You understand Bill Gates and Bezos? Bill Gates was just having dinner last year at Mar-a-Lago with Trump, talking about mRNA. I wonder what they were talking about. Probably about making money on the next scam. It'd probably be the real event. But Bill is alongside Peter Thiel and everybody else trying to get their hands on parts of Greenland. You might have saw a clip here recently. It showed Bill just walking around New York City eating a hot dog. And people are like, dude, what is he doing? Like, why is he there? Like, there has to be something ominous going on. Otherwise, they were shooting a little film thing for his emblem. The emblem on his on a shirt that he always wears, a little thing that they always wear, a little pin. It's the circle for like the World Economic Forum, whatever it is. It's a circle with all the colors. I seen it in another clip because people were freaking out. Like, why is he just standing around eating a hot dog in New York City? Well, he was in the same gear with the same people that I saw in another clip where he shot, where he did this stupid little thing where he was in New York. They were obviously filming something. And I seen what it was. And it was all about that little logo that leads back to the World Economic Forum and all their goons. So, arrest Bill Gates is the motto. Arrest Fauci, arrest all of them. But it's not going to happen. Not on Trump's watch. He ain't going to do it. This man won't do nothing. He won't arrest nobody. Remember, he done let Hillary slide, basically. And all the way up to this point, they're supposed to give deposition, but like, if that was anyone else, they'd have their doors kicked in. Like, So Trump goes off on the UK. And much love to my UK cats out there. They obviously don't know how to take a joke. They don't know how to take the internet. They don't know how to take like Grok or AI, making images of like Starmer and putting him in a bikini and like it looking funny. They get so butthurt out of it, they want to ban anyone from being able to have any kind of anything, freedom of expression. It's the truth. And man, I've never seen a country move into totalitarian mode so fast as I have with the UK here recently. I pray for my brothers and my sisters, but in the end, with every country, what it's going to end up taking is righteous people arresting the treasonous ones to stop all this. And check this out. Here's Cenk Uygur, a guy that said that he supported doing things to animals. Oh my God, sick stuff. Like, this dude's messed up. And I also caught him at the RNC years ago in a staged rumble with Alice Jones just to get views. Had to make sure the cameras were rolling before they started a fake little rumble. Like they were going to fight at the RNC. Of course, got views and all this attention. But I thought this was good. Cenk's punk, in my opinion. I don't think he's real at all. I think he's it's another phony out there, a tool used to push propaganda. But this woman in the middle gets into it with him and smokes him. She shuts him down like, you need to shut your mouth and let me speak, because he's trying to assert himself. They both get their time to speak, right? And I just want to see you shut him. Want you to see her shut him down there.
Goldie Gamara, you were pulling a number of faces there, none of which I would describe as particularly indicating an agreement with what Cenk was saying. So what would you like to say?
I mean, first of all, Cenk is not Iranian, so he has no idea what's going on in occupied Iran. Pretty sure Cenk doesn't speak Persian either, so he probably has no idea what the tens of millions. No, actually, it's Persian. Persian is the English word for Farsi. So don't correct me when I'm speaking and don't interrupt me. I let you speak your garbage jihadi Islamist propaganda.
You should know your native language.
You do not get to talk over me. You do not get to talk over me or interrupt me when I'm speaking on behalf of 90 million Iranians who are out in the streets right now fighting for their lives.
You're not speaking on behalf of all Iranians.
You speak. Yes, I am. You speak about how the bombings.
When
or
did
whatever.
they elect you?
Why are you speaking over me? Why are you speaking over me? Are you threatened by what I'm about to say? Is that why you want to interrupt me? I suggest you keep your mouth shut.
No, because you're pretending
until
to
I'm done
represent people
speaking.
that never elected you.
Well, let her speak. Cenk, all respect, she let you speak. Let her respond.
Yeah, I let you speak your garbage propaganda, so now it's my turn to speak the truth. So do not interrupt me again. So like I was saying, Pierce, Iranians right now are literally risking their lives out there, and they are saying this is the final battle. Pahlavi will return. Pahlavi is, of course, the current Shah of Iran in exile. And what people don't know is that back in 1979, it's not actually a revolution. It was an Islamic coup d'etat. It was orchestrated by Jimmy Carter, it was orchestrated by the Islamists and the communists, and it was funded and supported by Jimmy Carter, the UK, and France. So what is happening right now? This is Iranians trying to rectify, and they are rectifying, 47-year mistake that was made. And what Iranians are saying is that we are going out and we are not going to stop fighting until we not only overthrow the Islamic dictatorship, but we return our king, because there is only one person that we Iranians trust to transition us from a dictatorship to a democracy, and that is His Royal Highness. And one final point, Iran was not an authoritarian dictatorship prior to 1979. We were a constitutional monarchy, just like England. That is what we are fighting for. So anyone who says that Iran was an authoritarian dictatorship, they know nothing about the country.
Interesting. That lets you hear something from someone from there, because there's so much propaganda, and I can't stand him. I thought it was brilliant that she was able to shut him down. He didn't need to disrespect like that anyway, but that's how he operates. A lot of them operate like that, and they use it as a tool just to throw you off your game. And that's just one of the weapons. I've seen it throughout the years, but we have Senate Republicans striking down a Venezuelan war powers resolution. 2 GOP senators flip, and then Vance, go figure, he's the tie-breaking vote to go in favor, to where Trump and his administration can go to war. They can do whatever they want in Venezuela. They can go after that dude with the Bitcoin and all this. So they can make advancements. Dude, we are entering, this is a war time like we've never seen. A world war time we've never seen. I love all y'all. I hope y'all make it through this. Hope we all do. I just got a funny feeling that something crazy is going to happen here. I've known about it. We've known about it for so long. We're here. We're in the window. It's 2026. I don't know, man. Sometimes I can't explain the feeling that I get. The closer we get to this, I just feel like an event or series of events is about to unfold. All this time that you've watched us go around doing all these things around the planet, things are going to hit us here. And they're going to happen in tandem. Compounding. To make the situation more frantic. And we're going to get hit. I think that's the biggest thing. We're going to get hit. Not a question of if, but when. It's coming soon. You should expect attacks widespread. Different places, different situations. You're going to see military style blowback attacks on civilian population in the United States of America. You mark my words. It's not going to be good. It's not going to be pretty. We do this all the time. Unfortunately, this is a bad one. We call these things out. What the hell's going to go down? Where it's going to go? The route it's going to go. We end up going down it. Well, here we are. What's in front of us is not good. There's a lot of not good in front of us here. Look, China is in here everywhere. In anything that goes down, like a cyber attack or anything like that. At this point, Iran, China, Russia, you should know they're all allied, same boat, so to speak, all buddies. They might have taken out Maduro, but like this whole thing with Iran, China and Russia are not just going to sit idle. They're not. They're actually, there's things in motion. They're doing things. If you don't know, China's entire navy has been rebuffed. It's now the largest on the planet. And they dispatched a huge conglomerate of ships toward Venezuela so they could escort their ships, their vessels that have oil safely in and out. Even though Trump said that they could continue to still get their oil, it's also back and forth. Like, then why are, I don't know. There's so much there with Venezuela. It's kind of up in the air right now. I think the next few weeks and months, man, are going to be very interesting for everything. I think from one spot to another, you're going to see Trump moving. So the Chinese are here. That's the setup, really. And our government let them in. They're all over the place. They got their own property sitting right next to our bases. We know about it. Government knows about it. Everybody talks about it. Nobody ever does anything about it. So it's a setup, is what it is. And right here, China plans a secret room near sensitive cables in London's mega embassy. Oh, why would you even let them? Why would you ever? How could we even talk about it and you proceed to let them even do that, to even move in? Same thing. It's like they're moving in right next to our base, right up to the fence line. Are you kidding me? Like, why would you do it? Unless it's a setup. In a real atmosphere, you would never do that. Like, you'd tear down the fence, you'd seize the property, you would arrest the Chinese spies and the enemies, and it'd be done. But that's never happened. Not one time. So it's a setup. Chinese gonna get blamed for what's about to happen. Big time. When we talked about the whole, I can get to it here, man. Did I skip it? We touched on it. Well, we've got the whole thing with the outage that went down today. With Verizon, T-Mobile, and all that. So was that beta test? You know, I don't know. Trying to keep on point here. We're already at the top of the hour. I've got a handful more things to touch on here. Definitely going to go into the second hour here. Well, go toward 11:30 and try to get shut down. By then, immigrant Secret Service agent leaks JD Vance's travel details. This is crazy. So they arrested the guy, or the guy's in trouble. Tomas Escato only became a citizen in 2018. Well, I don't know how they got guys like this working It's top level security for their administration. Just blows my mind. So this Secret Service agent leaked his details. Again, how does somebody does somebody like this that just comes in, wasn't even a U.S. citizen, become a Secret Service agent like this? Like a setup, if you ask me. Again, it's like the only explanation. In a real world, it would never happen. It would never happen. Because that's where espionage comes into play. People come from other countries. These are the most high-profile, highest picks candidates to do espionage and be spying and do all this other stuff. There would be a lot of stringent things. So the U.S. designates chapters of the Muslim Brotherhood as a terrorist organization. So just add that to the list. And then Trump, he freezes the visas on 75 countries. Like, it's like, these are huge moves, man. It's like a world war moves. Like, he's stopping people from 75 freaking countries from coming in. What are you expecting? I'm straight up. What are you expecting? What is about to go down? It's going to take effect January 21st. People coming in from Iraq, Russia, Afghanistan, Brazil, Egypt, Nigeria, all these other places. Well, it would seem to me that something huge is about to happen, but the damage is already done. Like, whoever's going to do something is already here. They're already in here. Oh boy, this feels like something huge is about to happen. They're doing all the things, man. They're doing all the things. This isn't good, man. This is not good. It's too late. They're already in here. Like, they're already snuck into the Trojan horse, which was 4 years of the Biden regime letting them come in. They're here all over. No amount of ICE agents all over the place is ever going to capture all the ones they slipped in. I've not seen a story one time about them going on Chinese property to look for migrants. Not one time. I've seen stories of some Chinese migrants getting caught here and there, but not them going on these properties. Could you imagine the trove that you would find if they just went in there? I need somebody to go down there with some drones, man. Somebody actually cares. See what, like Texas, right next to the military bases. You ain't got to fly over to military bases. Don't go there. But we got to see what's going on, man. Like, it's getting crazy. I feel like something big's going to happen here any moment. Again, look at this. This throws the World Cup into chaos because they say that fans are blocked from many nations. Look at all the places I just told you. People cannot come from all over the world. Are not going to be able to come to this event. Now, I told you that this event was top of the list to get attacked. Top of the list. It's on the cover. It's telegraphed on the Rothschild magazine. It's a little guy kicking a ball, and on the ball is all the chaos. Is all of everything breaking loose. A look ahead, 2026. There's tanks all over the place, and there's Trump in the middle pointing at a graph, at a grid, at the economy going down, crashing, and he's pointing at it. Okay, man, this is such a freaking setup, man. So they showed us there's rules to black magic in the game and how they operate. They had to tell you. Rothschild's a master at this. They did it. You wonder why of all times there's been soccer matches and big games and matches and events every year all the time that they've been doing this. You have to ask, why now? Why? They're trying to tell you. I'm telling you right now. There's something with these soccer events that's going to be targeted. And I already told you about the one in Seattle, what was supposed to go down. It made no sense anyway. They called it out. How are you going to take two countries Muslim countries that were scheduled to play there in a soccer match that were heavily against the LGBTQ stuff because of their religion, and have them play ball in a stadium packed full of people up there that support the LGBTQ stuff. How are you dare going to try to do that? So Rothschild telegraphs a soccer event, a guy kicking the ball. I'm telling you, they've put it out there, and now all of a sudden it keeps popping up. I'm telling you, this is how it works. And looky here, Trump to speak at the World Economic Forum. You can't even make this up, man. Like, dude, if this was everything you fake ass patriot MAGA maggots claim, he should be surrounding the World Economic Forum, arresting all of them. Oh, but let me guess. Q told you. He's got to go in there first like James Bond so they can surround the place, right? You're pathetic. Sick of it. It's your crap. He's a stooge. He's one of them. If they really wanted him dead, if he's against it, get out of here. This says it all. Going to speak at it? Get out of here. Get out of here, man. It's ridiculous. If he's really at odds with any of these people, like he says and it seems, they would want him dead. But he's going to speak. So what does that mean? He's going to walk in and out of there just fine. You watch. Give his little speech. Get welcomed and everything. And there ain't going to be no threat on him because he's not a threat to them. Because it's all a farce. Which means just like Hillary for prison, it's all a lie. He's a lie. He's a fraud. He's a Gentile Messiah. He's bringing to you the police state right in front of your eyes here in America, as he's got half the Americans in a trance. Afraid to call it out again. This is crazy, man. If this guy was a fraction of anything he ever claimed to be, they would be arresting everybody at the World Economic Forum. Of course, he would have arrested Bill Gates at Mar-a-Lago last year, but he didn't. He had dinner with him and he talked about mRNA, and they told you about it. Stick it and rub it in your face. So any of you MAGA clowns, you're fools. And the longer you stay on there, the more you're being made to look like a pedo-protecting fool. Yeah. You know this ain't no left-right paradigm right here. You know this ain't no Biden crap around here. My flag says F Biden. All right, you know that. So you can't play that card here. You need to wake up. You snap out of it before you go down in history as being one of the people that was the problem. Because the future's going to look back. Do you understand this? I know most of you do. But I hope MAGA does one day. Here soon. The future's going to look back at where it all went wrong. How did this even happen? How did all the patriots in America get roosted and blindsided into accepting pedos running the place in a police state getting rammed down their throat, the digital currency that they claimed that they didn't want? How did it all even happen? They're going to go back and they're going to look and they're going to find you. They're going to find all these docile individuals that were used like cannon fodder to push the whole thing. They're going to see everything for what it's for because you can't hide it all. You can't hide it at all. Everything comes out in the wash. So, again, there's no shame in the game. If you come out and you say, I made a mistake, I'm off the ship. Salutes to you. Burn the red cap. Kill the ritual. Do it. Find your power. And know that you are powerful. Stop being controlled by witches and wizards that are vamping off your energy. Now do you see what they've been doing to you? Once you do, you'll never go back. Same as being awake. Once you awaken, you'll never go back. You can never unsee the truth. Some, though, try to hide behind a lie because they're so vested in it. That's my thing with MAGA. Some are so far invested into it that even though they know there's the pedos and all this stuff, they're so heavily tied into it. They're like done. They're done. They're done. They don't have a choice. It's like they went on. But I will argue that, like, it doesn't matter. Even if you feel that way, you do have a choice. You can still say no. No, I don't care. But you see, people have their businesses tied into this. They're selling product to the crowd. And that's all this ever was about for some of these SOBs. They used this whole movement to sell their product, their t-shirts, their drinks, or their whatever. Yeah, they used the whole movement. It's all it was about, to make money. And it is still to this day, to push the product. They're tweeting out there, cheesing there with Trump, go MAGA, thumbs up, all the trash. Just to sell the product and the image, everything that they built. They're so heavily vested into it. Yeah, they might as well be a Fed at this point. Don't you think? If you're butthurt over what I got to say, get the fuck out of here. Don't you ever come back. I don't want none of you feds around me. I want none of you around here. I want none of you listening, hanging out. I don't want you discovering the truth. I don't want nothing. You working with the enemy, get out. Fake ass patriot punks. You should feel like a certain way. You should feel like crap inside. Because you're fighting for the wrong side. And somewhere inside you know it. You're fighting for the beast, son. Everything that most of you ever acted like you would go against. You took an oath to protect this place against threats, foreign and domestic. And not a one of you, none of you, you got the kahunas to arrest the threats domestic. You won't do it. None of you. You know where it's at. You know who it is. You know who the pedos are. You know who the pedo protectors are. And you won't do it. You took the oath. I wouldn't train. I wouldn't train to kill. I didn't take that oath. I didn't do all this and that. But I'll tell you what. I do a lot more damage out here calling out the truth, calling out the pedos than you do ever. And you took the oath to protect this place. So what? Who's really riding for this place? Huh? You'll tell them by their fruits. It always comes back to that, don't it? I love it. Love you, God. Jesus, Yeshua, the Holy Spirit. I love you, team on the other side, guiding. There's a righteous team, you best believe. I'm putting in the work for it. Try to guide you there best I can. I ain't perfect neither. But there's a bad team out here. And there's a bunch of docile people that act like they're doing the righteous work. Claim they're the good guys. Claim this and that, but they ain't. They ain't. They're frauds. They're tares. So I salute, again, all real patriots, all real men and women that back the oath they took, no matter how you do it, to serve and protect this place against threats foreign and domestic. And I'm not talking domestic terrorists that like your fellow real patriots, because that's obvious. That's what they want to label at this point. The game's changed. 10 years ago, it used to be ISIS. And I used to always say, man, I'm telling you, in the future, there's going to be a day where they turn the guns toward Americans. And it's going to be domestic terror. Oh, boy, we are there. 11/11. Time flies quick. Skeevy, thank you. And much love, pure bloods, all the righteous ones. It is East Coast time. I'm not trying to put a time limit on the stream. I could find myself. I don't want to leave out information that needs to be spoken and put out there. So it's to whatever. I always cut these streams off by midnight, no matter what. So I got about a dozen more articles. I'll cut some of them out here and then get down to the final ones here. I got some good stuff here left. Russia, Ukraine. The war between these guys is now longer than the Soviets and the Nazis. Can you say we're in World War? You betcha. You betcha. Every definition of World War is checked off the box. Everyone has been and continues to add to it, especially with Trump going around everywhere like you've never seen. And again, everyone's like in this illusion, like it's not happening or something. It's happening. It's happening. Your leaders going around everywhere like saying, look, we're going to kill you. We're going to kill you if you don't do what we say. And like, even to our buddies. Like, yeah, we're coming in, we're taking your land. They're like, what? Like, we're supposed to be buddies, man. Like, I don't care. I want everything you got. And they're like, nah, man, like, you can't do that. Like, we're supposed to be pals. And I was like, no, I get it. Give it to me. And like, no, man, back up, back off. Like, you can't do that. Like, we're part of the same clique. I was like, no, we're coming one way or another. And that's what Trump's saying, even threatening military against Greenland. I don't know how you do it, but they're doing it. Like, anyone else, like, again, 10 years ago, like, this wouldn't work. Like Obama and them, I don't know if anyone else could have, like, done it like this, but Trump just boss hawking it, going through whatever he wants. One thing he can't settle, and I'm not so sure that they want it settled, is Ukraine. And I say that because he's breaking away. It gives him the excuse here to also break away from NATO, which they seem to want, and kind of leave it to them. We'll see what happens this year. I think something huge is going to happen on this war front. I think something huge before it's said and done. I think somebody's going to catch a mini nuke, a mushroom cloud. We're right there. They're blacking out Moscow. They're blacking out Kiev like it's never been this close. Trying to take shots at Putin's residence and all this. Oh, come on. Like, this could be the year. Like, people are in the dark. Like, Ukraine is in the dark. It's wintertime. People are freezing. The grid's out. Like, yo, man, it's going down. It's like worst case scenario. They don't told people to evacuate the main part of the city. Like, man, this isn't good. It's like worst case scenario. Russia's going to take this. Like, nothing is stopping them. There's nothing. Unless Zelensky does something stupid and they try to, like, do some tactical suitcase nuke crazy crap in Moscow. Which is possible. That will get them nuked. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. This is a crazy situation. Think about this. Kiev, however you want to say it. This is the stronghold. This is the capital, always has been, of Ukraine. This is where Zelensky and all of them have been this entire time, their main spot. It's now lights out. It's not getting surrounded by Russia. they're taking shots again at his residence, his own personal residence. You don't think that a decapitation strike on Zelensky isn't on the table at some point here? Has to be. Okay? Now, if you're Zelensky now, and you're getting ran out of your last stronghold, your last major city, what do you do? All I see is a nuke being volleyed. I see a nuke. I see mushroom cloud. I see a big hit in a way it's never been done. Are they going to do it to try to end it? Because it's going to be the end of them. In a real setting. If you're getting ran out of your last city and you've got a nuke, these nuts are going to use it. Because what do they got to lose? They're about to lose it all. If they don't, in their defense, if they don't do it, they're done. If they nuke Moscow, they could save themselves. So now, if you take over Kiev and you run them out, now where are they? Now things aren't as easy. But you've now got them trapped in the western part of the country, a small little spot in the western part of Ukraine. But where are they at? Now you've really got them cornered, and they're backed up against NATO allies, which is the dangerous part here. That territory is what Russia was willing to say they were never going to mess with. They would always leave that area for Ukraine as Ukraine, because they know it's backed up against all NATO right there. So they've already said this. We're at a point where they're about to take Kiev. Zelensky's about to be on the run with like suitcase nukes. Give it to him by Macron and everyone else. I'm telling you, like we're right there. There's not much more that you can do. See, all this time you were never here. You were never at this point. You never had the Russian military at Kiev. Some said it would never happen. Well, it's happening. Okay, so I'm telling you, when you get them backed into a corner, it's my question. What do they do? What do they do? Guys that refuse to talk any peace and surrender any peace plan. We've had so many out here, and they won't do it. I'm telling you, Zelensky's getting this place wrecked. But there is a little bit of hope. Look at this. And I pray that the Most High in heaven answers the prayers of the Ukrainian people. They are fighting back finally, because it took them getting decimated by their own government and for them to have to live through it and see it, for people to finally step up. They should have done this to begin with, but so many men have been killed. If all those men would have made a stand on the home front to begin with, then not a fraction of them would have been killed. And look, you get to this point anyway. We've got to learn lessons from this. If you sit back here on the home front and you allow them to start kidnapping our soldiers and you do nothing, shame on you to begin with. But people are going to fight back at some point. You just need to go ahead and man up and do it. It's what you need to do. Ukrainians are doing, and men and women, you can see here, they're friends, neighbors. They're starting to stand up when their people are getting kidnapped. They're lynching. They're running up on the paddy wagon on these people, and they're dragging their people out. They're fighting back. They're swinging. They're kicking. They're punching. They're not just letting them get abducted to never be seen again. And like 7, 8 out of 10 times, all dead. Literally, when you watch someone get kidnapped and they take off with them, put them in the military, you'll never see them. They're gone. You must say you just witnessed them get taken to a death camp. That's what it amounts to. They're getting released on the front line, given a gun with a clip last minute and dropped off on a trench line, and told to follow the orders of whoever ahead of them. And of course, if they show any signs of disobedience, it could be shot and killed right there by the Ukrainians. It's an insane thing, man. And then you got to immediately worry about Russia and their drones coming down to blow your head off. It's a wild game, and these guys don't even want to be there. Just in the yard mowing. Imagine just being in the yard mowing, and a van pulls up, and like a bunch of dudes come out like linebackers trying to tackle you and kidnap you, literally. I'm gonna tell you right now, like there's a reason why you're not seeing like this in the hood in certain places, because certain places, and they know this, certain places will start shooting them, will start like gunning them down, and they don't want you to see people fighting back. They don't want you to see that image because you might get a little ballsy, embrace it, and do it yourself. And you see, when the whole crowd stands up to the bully, the game's over. When all these people stand up in mass, like everybody, all it takes is a few. All it takes is a handful. When more and more people can relate, like they have a friend now and a relative or whoever that's been kidnapped, and they're looking out their window, and now they're seeing people fighting back. Guess what? Now they're inclined. They're going out and joining. This is a game-changing moment, man. It really is. It's a huge moment. This is what I look for all the time. It can never get it. Just to get people off their ass to do something, to save their people. Disgusting how people were sitting back. Again, everybody docile in such a daze that they were allowing them to get kidnapped and putting up no fight to begin with. And this has been happening for a while. But now they're finally fighting. So thank God. Don't let this be you. France is trying to keep Ukraine from buying our weapons. It seems a big shift is going down. And I'm going to tell you now, quickly, France is becoming the U.S. enemy big time. And when you mess with weapon sales and money and things like that, oh, dude, France, man, they might catch an ass kicking here at some point. I'm telling you that our country is at odds with them. We're breaking away from NATO and the whole thing largely because of them. Them in Germany, and you could say the UK governments. They're the biggest drivers there in the wedge. Not so much Italy and them and some others in Greece. It's them, the main ones. Germany, France at the front. They used to be our biggest allies. It's not so. They're the biggest backers of this fraudulent war in Ukraine. And now they want to talk them into $100 billion loan. And I'd say Ukraine has no choice. With the United States stepping away, and this is going to drive a wedge between the U.S. and the EU. Okay, so I'm telling you, I wouldn't. The way this is going, we're end up at war with them. Macron's a punk anyway, though. Like, I pray the people in France rise. And Germany. I pray they rise, overthrow the corrupt governments, man. So, here we go. You can see telling you, and I'm curious, because things are so fluid right now. Let me go check something. Checking AppMex. I just want to get a quick price check. 89.20. 89.22 right there. You can see we're below 90. Wow, and it's stuck. Bring it on down. Trump appears to de-escalate the Iran rhetoric. Killing has stopped, so the oil tumbled. All he's got to do is say certain things, and the markets are affected. Listen. The Iran foreign minister says there's calm. They're in full control. They're not executing no one. Like, all even scheduled executions are stopped. They're trying to stop all this, all the chaos. I'm seeing that it's not stopping militarily. Because when you look, all the signs are there that they're about to strike. What Trump seems to be doing is throwing a head fake. And guess what he did? He did this last time, right before they struck their nuclear facilities. They put out news, they put out headlines, all the stuff, acting like he was going to give them time for talks and this and that. And then boom, 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 hypersonics started flying. Listen, pay attention to this one, because any moment things can shift. I got a feeling it's going to be for the worst. Look, they're not stopping until they topple the Iranian regime. If you missed the whole thing, if you didn't get the memo, the U.S., the CIA, the United States government is behind a color revolution, an overthrow of the government inside Iran. They are largely fueling and behind the chaos on the ground. They are the ones feeding guns to the people on the ground that are fighting back against the Iranian security forces. This is why there's a large group of security forces that are dead. How they die? Because they've been shot. Who were they shot by? By these people armed by the West, right? This is why protesters are shot by the thousands in the chest and getting killed. It wasn't for absolutely nothing. There's a massive back and forth of propaganda here, and you need to see through the veil of it. And that is the truth right there. Both sides taking hits. And now, Trump de-escalating it. I'll say that. I'll stick with those words. Because the markets have accepted it. Okay? But check this out. I'm not buying it. If you follow the signs from last time, all these red flags are popping up. And this is another one. Last time, Netanyahu, or Bibi, his jet departed Israel and it landed in Greece right before the attacks on Iran. Right before it. He just did it again. You don't get too many telltale signs. Just like the pizza joints going crazy. Just like Trump leaving and going to a secret meeting, Oval Office meeting late last minute. But then they put out headlines saying that the Pentagon doesn't want him to attack Iran, that we need more time to get ready. And I ask, why would they even telegraph that? Why would they? Unless it was propaganda. Unless you want them to think that. And you continue to feed that, which is what he did tonight. He de-escalated. They're trying to act like they're de-escalating through the headlines, okay? And then, boom, out of nowhere, okay? That's what I feel can potentially happen here. The stage is set for it, okay? So they've been executing people left and right. And if you don't know, like this poor young gentleman now that no longer exists, he's deceased because they put the noose around him and they yank it into the air with a piece of heavy duty equipment, a crane. They lift the crane, quick, jerk it up. So there is no just dropping the floor out from underneath of a person or whatever, like maybe they live, maybe they don't from their own weights, They like give the good snap of the neck, make sure that you're going to go. Oh yeah, Bibi's got more souls under his belt than anyone. Some of these countries are so evil and wicked. Even Saudi Arabia, cutting heads off people every day, all the time, for minor offenses. This one says Trump's military intervention in Iran appears likely, possibly within 24 hours. Officials warn U.S. evacuates the Middle Eastern military bases, and just as soon as you see the Iraqi embassy base fully, not partially, fully evacuated and everyone out of there, you know it's going down. So they put up warnings in the airspace in the area already. And there was a massive blackout in terms of the internet. In Iran, they crippled it. Well, Starlink seemed to save the day. Well, then Iran came out and said they were jamming the Starlink. So Musk is going at it with them back and forth. And there's this battle right now between like cyber attacks, internet access, internet shutdown, all this stuff, for control of all of it. And Elon's playing a big part of it here. There's like a war going on here, information war in real time, where they tried to shut everybody out across the country, but Elon popped up like, no, here, use the Starlink, and you're in business. And, you know, there's feds crawling all over the place, CIA all over the place on the ground. So, you know, Elon tied into this, the military operations on many fronts. As you can see here with Starlink, it's crucial. Yeah, and for all the flat tards out there that say, oh, it's so flat that there are no satellites. Like, you're retarded, man. Like, seriously, like, it's ridiculous. Just headlines like this prove it as well. When whole entire countries are blacked out from ground-based internet. And, like, you see, the only way signals are getting out is through satellite services like Starlink. I guess that this isn't happening because you think the whole place is flat. Huh? You know, and all this and that, you know. And if you can think what you want to think, but I'm always sitting here waiting for someone to prove something. No one can never come with any scientific proof of none of that crap. So it just stays where it's at, I guess. In the meantime, and I can't say much about it till I get something up in subspace, like a satellite, and then it's on. Or a weather balloon, should I say. So as Trump threatens Iran, this is what I want you to pay attention to. Most of the U.S. Navy strike group remains in the Caribbean. Okay? Trump admitted he doesn't really know the true death toll in Iran. He's just going off what he's being told. He admitted that if he finds out that they haven't stopped killing people, something huge is going to happen. Oh, well, you know what that means. And you could wake up tomorrow morning and that be the case. All this was a head fake, just like I said. Because they tried to say this, but check this out. Much love, Spiro, and thank you for sending this in. They tried to say, all right, it's going to take a week for this one strike group to get out of the Caribbean, even get up in the area. Well, guess what they just did? They pulled the U.S. carrier strike group out of the South China Sea. You can see right here the USS Abraham Lincoln and its carrier strike group is on its way toward Iran. Oh, yeah. So I don't want to hear any of that talk of they have to wait a week for another warship that they're just telegraphing anyway. No. They've got assets around. There's so many refueling airships in motion from last night into today and tonight. It's ridiculous. Again, that matches exactly what happened last time. They were landing in Hawaii, refueling, and then, like, within 48 hours, the bombings were happening. That's why they keep saying all these headlines are saying 24, 48 hours, man. And look, Iran didn't stop the hits. Like, we hit the targets that we wanted. The question was, did we get as deep underground as we wanted with the bunker busters to do the damage they wanted? The last strike, because it was a very short strike. But I would say, Tehran responded, and they hit Israel. They hit Tel Aviv with hypersonics. The Iron Dome did not work. Okay? And it's been a recurring theme. Even our own Patriot missile system could not defend them. Could not defend Ukraine from the hypersonics from Russia. Russia, their anti-air system failed in Venezuela. That's why we rolled right in. Both the Chinese defenses and the Russian defenses. Not a single shot was fired. It was either a 1,000% set up and everybody's in on this whole thing. Or they suck that bad? I'm kind of having a hard time saying that they suck that bad. I'm leaning more toward this is all one big setup. Which deep down we already know it is. The world's a stage. So that's ridiculous. They didn't even fire a shot off these things. That's so much of this is like, there's so many questions to fly all the time that I have. And it's like, this wouldn't happen in a real world event. Like some of this is so staged, like scripted. Okay. So Venezuela is releasing prisoners. In Denmark, we'll touch on Denmark here, and then I've got one last thing to take us out of here with. So Denmark says it's clear Trump has a desire to conquer Greenland. Again, the guy's got this like this like idea he can take over. Look, it was one thing to say, okay, you're going down to Venezuela because of the drugs and all this crap. And you were using drugs as your excuse, and it seemed to be working to an extent for a docile base. It's not working with Greenland. But still, I'm not down for this. Because how are you going to turn around and say anything to China and Russia if they try to roll right up in here? They're going to say, like, look, you think it's okay just to roll up in anyone's country and take it? How does it feel if we do it to you? You know, like, that's how I feel about it. Like, there's no way, man. Like, it's wrong on so many fronts. Like, I mean, this is why wars are fought. And look at this. Germany is sending troops to Greenland. Germany. Really? Same Germany I keep talking about that seems to like be going to the side of our enemy? They're going to send troops into Denmark to face our troops? Now maybe you see what all is happening. But let me sweeten it a little bit. Macron in France, they threaten the United States with unprecedented consequences if we make a move on Greenland. So our former ally buddies, Germany and France, both coming out of nowhere all of a sudden and threatening us over Greenland. Threatening us, even with military. Because Trump wanted to say he would use military. Dude, we're not even out of NATO yet. Like this is crazy. Anyhow, that's what your dictator or commander-in-chief, Gentile Messiah Donald Trump is up to. And where he's got us. My biggest fear is the things he's doing, the pots that he's stirring out there. It's going to have blowback that affects us. And that is when it's going to be too late. That is my biggest concern. I want to play a piece here. Just to let you know that, first off, much love to all of you. I pray that you find the Most High in this journey and that you find your way out. It's the biggest mission. And I got a story here about Scott Adams, R.I.P. He just passed away. He was the guy behind Dilbert. And he was, his body went out on him and he had a message before he went. He identified as agnostic, not atheist, so to speak. And he was skeptical of religion, but I'll let the message speak for itself. I think it's a strong one. Look, I believe personally that you're asked to do good deeds in this life. You're not going to be able, just like the sinner you see all the time, the heathen that goes to church every Sunday, acts like the churchgoers, but all week is committing sins, treats you like trash, treats their neighbors like trash, doing all this stuff. That's not what a higher power would want you to do. That's not what they asked. They actually asked you to live righteous, but the heathens and animals, the low energy individuals, don't want to hear that. They want to do as thou will. And they think that all they got to do is, go get dipped in water and go to church on Sunday, and they can continue with their sins. And I'm here to tell you that that's not going to cut it. That's trying to play the Most High as a fool. You better watch your ass. People like that trying to play the higher power like he's some fool and can't see your sin all the time. You're the same ones whenever you crack the Bible open. You couldn't recite a verse for the life of you. Anyway, to find the Most High and to find the way out is the most important, even if it's at the last second. At least it's the last second. You found it.
Unfortunately, this isn't good news. Of course, he waited till just before the show started, but he's not with us right anymore. I'm going to try to get through this. He has a final message that he wanted to say, so I'm going to try to read it, trying to be strong. If you are reading this, things did not go well for me. I have a few things to say before I go. My body failed before my brain. I am of sound mind as I write this January 1st, 2026. If you wonder about any of my choices for my estate or anything else, please know I'm free of any coercion or inappropriate influence of any sort. I promise. Next, many of my Christian friends have asked me to find Jesus before I go. I'm not a believer, but I have to admit the risk-reward calculation for doing so looks so attractive to me. So here I go. I accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior and look forward to spending an eternity with him. The part about me not being a believer should be quite quickly resolved if I wake up in heaven. I won't need any more convincing than that. I hope I'm still qualified for entry.
Wow. I hope I'm still qualified for entry. Do you want that to be you? Wondering that. R.I.P. I'd say put in the work and know in your heart that you did, and you know that you're qualified for entry. Okay, so, make of it what you will. Everyone's got their opinions about things, but even it seemed powerful. I mean, up to the last second, someone that, hey, I wish you would have found the higher power. Found the Most High sooner. But no matter if it's down to the last second, I'm not sure who she is, a family member, or someone in the family, or ex-wife. That's his ex-wife right there. That's his ex-wife speaking. So, the guy who died was Scott Adams. He was the creator of. He's been in the headlines here recently, a lot. He was the creator of Dilbert. Let me see if I can. You see his face, you'll probably right there. There he is. Right there. He's been in the headlines here recently a lot. But yeah, I just wanted to share the strong message. Dang, AppMex is trending over there. I'm telling you why, because of that $10,000 limit. Guys, man, we're in crazy times. May the Most High be with all of you. If you call upon him, brings us here to a close of another one. And I thank you guys for joining me. As always, I appreciate the love, the support. We got crazy times we're in. Let me check my feed here real quick. Couple things.
President, I'm just trying to be fair.
Here's one. This is why I told you to follow Polymarket. And many people suspect this is Barron Trump doing this. Anytime you've got a suspected insider wallet, you should pay attention and track them on moves out there. They give you a big heads up on what's going to happen. Insider wallets that have a 100% win rate, come on, they're like gold. And when someone opens a $75 million short, you should pay attention, especially when they have a 100% win rate. Right? This wallet has perfectly called every market top and just went all in once again. And look, they threw the picture of Barron in there because many can't seem to put a finger on who else it could be with such a close inside beat on everything that's getting away with this. Dude, that man, if he's positioning correctly here, like it looks like he is, throughout all these crypto trades, all this other crap, even thus far, he's gonna be mega rich. Barron. You wonder why there was a book a long time ago, back in the 1800s, written about little Barron Trump. We see the craziness in everything that is going on prophetically and like with Trump here in the end time. But like, he's in this, but 80s, about to be 80s. You've got decades, so to speak, ahead, the whole future here, and it's going to be in the world of Barron Trump. And it's going to be in the most critical of times. Like, someone seemed to know this a long time ago. Oh, yeah. And one other thing I got to point out if you missed it. I dropped a video. I keep coming back over here. This is wild. If you go to Google Earth, and much love, Frank and Susie Q. If you go to Google Earth, I got a video that explains it all. Just go over on my X and you'll see these images are found on Google Earth, and it says the King of the Jinn. This is in southern Chile, right next to Patagonia, right across from Antarctica, at the Drake Passage, one of the most remote places on the planet. They are absolutely wild things that are there. And they're on the Earth. And apparently, even updated satellite imagery keeps showing the same thing. So, and it's not mirrored, as I explained, because even though it looks like it's mirrored in a lot of places, it's not perfectly symmetric. Oh, and I show that in the video, and I point out many places, like down here on the Jinn, King of the Jinn, It's just nuts. They tried to call one of these places a car lot. I don't know, to try to cover it up or what, but there's no roads that even lead out to here. This is like ancient land. They try to say one's a mosque, other's a car dealership, and then they call the other one the king of the gin. It's nuts. Anyway, it's all there. I broke it all down in the video. You can go look for it yourself. See it with your own eyes. It's there. Amongst all the other things. It's right down the road, literally, from the serpent heads that I always tell you about. Might have to dive into that a little further in the next stream. Anyhow, I do appreciate you guys joining me, hanging out. Much love. God bless. And as I always say, if the Lord doesn't return in the coming days, I look to see you guys here next time for some Underground World News Live. Much love. God bless. Thank you, John Boy. A thank you to the legendary Eon. Again, always coming through, man. I appreciate you more than you know. Thank you so much. Much love. God bless. Thank you, Christopher.